I have fortunately done some traveling around Central America. I went to Costa Rica and Panama with my buddy Andrew Nunez and Brian Akpala. Andrew is a American Colombian, and Brian is American Nigerian prince. Literally.
What?
I didn't even know he was a prince until after the
That
trip.
sounds like an email that I'm getting. I'm a
I know,
Nigerian
right?
prince, and I need money or
So
some
imagine
shit.
that trio. You got the white boy who can speak the Spanish pretty good, not like the Colombian, and a lot better than the bulky, dark-skinned
Nigerian
Brian
prince.
Akpala prince that looked like the muscle. And so it was like the translator, the money, the muscle that we looked. And so we went to Costa Rica, had an amazing time, but decided to go to Panama. And I'll talk about Costa Rica. We drove west and flew in, rented a car, got a fucking hotspot. I light up when I say it because it literally helped make the trip. Without the navigation, the communication, the posting, all that shit, the translation, it was so clutch. And so we drove west, stayed in Jaco, and then like Punta Cana, and went more south to Manuel Torres, and went to the park, or Manuel Antonio, and we're like, you know what? We're right by Panama. Why not hit another country, get some more stamps on our passport? And so
That's always the thing, man. It's like, should we go? It's another stamp on the passport. Let's do it.
let's do it. We didn't get our passport stamped when they let us in.
Ah, that sucks.
We didn't know that they didn't stamp us. They checked our car. They searched us.
You didn't realize until you were thumbing through later, and you're like, what the fuck?
No, we didn't realize it until we were leaving 2 days later.
Oh, and they're like, how'd you get here?
And they detain us.
Fuck, dude.
For 36
That sucks.
hours.
You think they didn't stamp it on purpose to fuck you guys?
Absolutely, to make us pay these corruption taxes to get out of Panama.
Fuck that, dude. That pisses me off.
Yeah, it was fucked.
Did you get it stamped on the way out at least?
Yeah, and we got
paid for it.
We got other stamps, papers, we had a piece of paper we had a staple in there.
Dude, that's so annoying,
And
bro.
thank God that we tracked where we were coming from and this and that, because they didn't want to
especially if
believe
you
us.
travel by car.
And the thing was,
you were traveling by car, right?
Yeah.
Fuck.
And a rental car, which we weren't even supposed to technically take across country borders. But we didn't know that. And so we had to pay $1,400 a piece to get out. When it was all said and done, I was having to get cash advancements on certain credit cards because I couldn't withdraw from my debit, and it was just, and they were driving us around the first night. They let us stay in a hotel that was of their choosing, and were watching us, and we had a little weed in the car, and we had all kind of been drinking. Andrew was pretty much sober when we got almost out of the
drug charges
country.
pretty crazy there?
Yeah, you get arrested for something like that, you're done. So, we didn't want to buck the horn too much, but we also knew that they were doing this on purpose. Mm-hmm. And Andrew could understand them fully. I can understand them somewhat. And so he...
That's good you had it full.
It was good and bad, because it was good that he knew, but it was bad because he was pissed. And he actually was saying that. He was challenging them and saying, fuck y'all, you can't do this. And I was on the phone with the embassy a lot. I had hella charges on AT&T that I had to get reimbursed, because I was like, y'all better make sure we don't die, because that's what it felt like the whole time.
You were on the phone with
government
who?
was going to kill us, the U.S. Embassy in Panama.
Wow.
Yeah. And so the next day...
that is pretty amazing that,
They didn't find the little weed that we had, and we weren't really worried if we were, but after the first day we weren't. They take us to get this money, and I'm on the phone with the embassy. We didn't want to pay it. And it was just all these hoops. We almost get out again. They take us back.
Do you think it's just a scam to get money, or do you think they're also trying to make an example of you?
They had done this to 15 other people just in front of us at this last checkpoint border. It's a very common thing that happens in that country of Panama, and in the northern tips. They see Americans.
But so these guys that
anybody.
were not stamping your passport, is it all just a giant scheme? Are they just not stamping anyone's passport and they just know that they're not going to do that?
Probably.
Because what's in it for the guy not stamping? Is he getting a kickback? You know what I mean? Is it all the same guys?
It depends. It could be real specific like that in some of the of the borders, of the entry points. Absolutely. And it could also just be, hey,
'Cause
we'll
who's
let
getting
these three drunk Americans stumble in and, try to get back out later. We drove all the way around the entire country, though, to get to Boca de Toros, took a ferry out to this area, like these beautiful islands, like, and had this kind of like incredible, majestic time. But then, when we were leaving, the weed we got was from there. It was some shitty, like, swag with fucking seeds. The weed that we actually still had from Costa Rica was dope. It was pretty good. Costa Rica's pretty developed. Like, people aren't really scared to go down there like Colombia or other places. But so we end up getting detained into the local jail.
How many days were you detained?
We had shackles around our ankles. I didn't have them as long as everybody else because I got to go out and get food. Fortunately, they let us do that. And we were in the lobby area. But for 6 hours. And then we were detained for 36 hours total.
Wow.
It felt like a month. It could have been. They had to take us to the hospital to get cleared 2 or 3 times.
To get cleared for what?
To leave. It was this whole racket, and Andrew knew, but I was able to kind of keep them tranquil because they're going to keep us longer, It would have been bad.
Fuck.
But so I definitely don't recommend going to that country. Sure, some people listening are Panamanian or have friends and family who are from Panama, and it's a whole different experience and parts of the country and this and that. But back to really where I'd suggest you take your 6th trip this year is Medellin. It's the eternal spring. Everything you ever heard about it, between the food, the booze, the women.
All the Colombian people I've ever met have been super cool.
The culture, the people, the climate. It's literally the Los Angeles of South America.
Really?
It's always perfect. That's why they call it the eternal spring. It's literally perfect weather, 78 degrees.
Is it on the coast?
It's
essential?
Yeah.
Huh. But it's still the weather is amazing.
Yeah, it's the way it's looking. That's why Pablo Escobar, one of the reasons that so many people, the Medellin cartel, have been there and had these turf wars because they want that turf. They want to live there. That climate is the best climate.
Yeah.
And some of those people are so amazing, and they really embrace Americans. Korea, really, I've spent some time. I lived in Korea for...
North or south?
Yeah, right.
People are dumb as hell when they ask that shit. It's so funny when people, like someone introduces themselves, oh, I'm Korean. Oh, North or south? It's Jesus Christ.
Right.
You don't get out of there.
Right.
Anyways, but you went to South Korea. Where'd you stay?
So, a little bit of time in Seoul. Iksan is where Rebecca was living. And so I stayed there for 3 weeks, and we went around. I did a podcast with my friend. It was one of my original podcasts. I think it was in the first 15 or so. My friend Trey Reed, he lived in Korea for 2 years or something. And he talked all about that trip, so it's pretty cool. It changed my perspective on the world, truly. I'm sure it did. Oh, we doing a little Instagram story? What up, world? That's cool. How long did you live in Korea for? 3 weeks. So it was a trip. Also, it was long enough, they have hot water running underneath the floor. I was there when it was a snowstorm. Whoa! For half the time, and so the hot water heats the floor. The efficiency and utility of this country is so far surpassed most of America. It's beautiful and amazing. So hot water runs underneath the floor because it's the most economical way to heat as hot heat rises. And so we were sleeping on the floor and that was that's cool. Awesome. And the food was so cheap. But back to Colombia, everything is true that you've ever heard, except the drugs and the crime. Crime is pretty much dissipated. It's pretty fucking safe there everywhere now. And drugs are so illegal. If you get caught with pot, it's a year. Really? Korea too. I think it's 2 years. I was gonna say those. Yeah, a lot of Asian. My friends are from. Prostitution's legal. You can go pay $20 on a credit card to have sex with a woman or a man
Which it seems backwards to us, but if you actually think about it, it's not that ridiculous. You know what I mean? It's
yeah, I mean, both of them should be legal.
You can have sex for free, but to pay you can't.
Right.
What other thing is illegal to pay, but for free you can't, you know?
If both, this is radical.
It's kind of the same thing with...
were legalized, though, just think.
Yeah.
About the regulation, the lack of danger that would be happening.
Yeah, it is crazy. It's like, I'm not a fan necessarily of prostitution.
It happened a lot less.
Yeah.
And in better ways.
Yeah, that's why
I'm not a fan of prostitution either, but it's human trafficking.
But it makes more sense for everybody.
It's things that are tearing apart parts of our country.
Yep. That's why, I mean...
And dividing people, really, first and foremost.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. I think the more open stuff is, like, the more... I don't like governmental, like, paternalism, where, like, the government's telling you what not to do and what to do. It's kind of like, dude, let's be real. Like, people are going to have sex. People are going to do prostitution. People are going to use drugs. Like, you might as well legalize it, make plans around it. You know, alcohol is legal. It's a dangerous drug. People getting, drunk driving all the time. We've somehow managed for years and years and years. At one point in our history, there was prohibition, and look how that went for us. We're going to look back on the weed prohibition the same exact fucking way. People are going to be like, it was illegal? What? Weed?
It'll be the same for MDMA and mushrooms and a lot of these. Well, ayahuasca.
Mushrooms just got legalized in Denver, right? Yeah, psilocybin.
Psilocybin is coming through.
Have you ever done mushrooms?
Yeah, absolutely.
Ayahuasca. What's your experience?
Not ayahuasca.
Well, ayahuasca is a little more intense. What was your experience with mushrooms?
I think of any drug that you're gonna take. First and foremost, marijuana is the best if it should be classified as a drug. And then if you're gonna take an upper that's like that, it would be mushrooms as it grows out of the ground. And I did it in high school.
It's literally like the most.
And then in college, a decent amount.
Did you do it as a party kind of thing? Or?
I did MDMA. We would go to this rave, this party called Fuck Yes, the first Thursday of every month at the Drunken Unicorn, which is next to MJQ underneath.
MJQ is cool.
Next to MJQ underneath, what's that? I don't know, Friends on Ponce over there by Chipotle and across from Motor Kroger formerly. Mm-hmm. And yeah, man, Dylan Island, this guy, DJ Lake Castlevania, would put on
that dude.
The show.
Dude, Lake Castlevania, when I was first getting into EDM, I recognized him somewhere and had him sign this hat that I had. And he Dylan still has it
dope
signed.
Motherfucker, bro.
Yeah,
so he and I still
crazy
talk.
Blonde hair.
He lives in LA. We're definitely gonna plug him in. Like, he's an amazing.
What's up, Lake Castlevania? That's I haven't thought about that name or heard of that name in a long minute. That's cool.
He made this culture, like we didn't miss this. I didn't miss this party for 18 months straight. Like,
damn.
Yeah.
So anyways,
I definitely took MDMA during all that, and I would take the 5-HTP prior to. So that's, if you're gonna do it, here's how to do it: hydrate, eat well. Take 5-HTP. It's like $1 a pill.
Because it replenishes the serotonin, right?
Yeah, so you take it probably 3, 4, 5 days before. And, just one a day. And start building it up. So once not only you're tripping, after you have a better experience, it lasts longer. And instead of coming down and having this awful hangover from ecstasy or MDMA, you actually have endorphins chilling in your body for like 2 days later.
Ready to go.
Yeah, just ready to go. Like, still good.